Tell me, first of all, your overall thoughts today about the statement James Comey has released, or the committee has released, that he's going to deliver tomorrow before the Senate Intel.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to read it. I've been briefed on it. I'm going to get through it tonight. It's been a little busy here in the Capitol, but from what I've been briefed on, it sounds like it's much of what's already been reported, but it's fairly rich in detail and color. But the substance seems to me, from what I've understood, similar to what we've already been hearing.
One of the things that's in the statement, and I underline it's a statement, when we haven't heard the president's side of it, at least maybe we have in part on Twitter, but he said that on January 27th, the president said, "I need loyalty, I expect loyalty," and it was followed by sort of an awkward silence. Is it appropriate for the president to ask for a question of loyalty for the FBI director?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously I don't think that is. I think Director Comey will probably get a lot of questions about that tomorrow, would be my guess. But I don't think that that's new. I think that that's already been reported on. I think that was something that was in the New York Times, gosh, a month or two ago.
I think the big difference here is that we're not hearing it through anonymous sources, but from the former FBI director.
That's right. The difference is we're getting it, and tomorrow you'll have it live and in person. So I think that is, so it's not difference in substance, but it's difference when we're hearing it straight from the director himself. And yes, FBI directors are supposed to be independent. That's something that's very, very critical. I think that's why we have a new person that's been announced, Ray, who seems to fit the bill for an independent prosecutor career professional type, because we typically look for someone who's going to be independent, but also that position is treated independently. And this obviously crosses that.
And I suppose the advantage of tomorrow is there'll be follow-up questions as well. It's not just from an anonymous source. But one of the things that he is saying in his statement is that he, on February 14th, that he said, the president says, "I hope you can let this go." This was after clearing the room, and is he making reference to the General Michael Flynn investigation?
Yeah, again, that's something that we'd heard before. I think... Look, I think we've all established that Jim Comey is a very independent guy. So the fact that he didn't do anything at the particular time when that conversation took place, I think is noteworthy. But again, this is all part of everything that's being investigated. This is why we have now an independent counsel. We have an investigation in the House. We have an investigation in the Senate. My job is to make sure we don't prejudge anything and let the facts go wherever they are, wherever they may be.
How do we make that determination? It's such a divided country. I think everyone probably has made up his mind whether Comey's telling the truth or not telling the truth, the president telling the truth and not telling the truth. But I mean, for you, how do you decide who to believe?
Well, again, I just want to see all the context and all of the witnesses that are going to be investigated in this. This is something Bob Mueller, I think, is looking at. As you see, Rod Rosenstein, who is the acting attorney general in this particular case, who's the deputy attorney general, he has asked the independent counsel to look into this very specific issue and the firing of Comey. So that's something that investigation has just begun. And so the way I look at this is just let the facts go wherever they are, and let's wait till we make final judgment until we see all of the evidence and all the facts after they've been fleshed out.
All right, I'm going to get to the some legislation about that you're advocating. But before we get to that, you were at the White House yesterday. Were there any questions from the president or discussion with the president about Russia, Flynn, Comey, the investigations? He mentioned it at all?
No, not at all. We're basically talking about our legislative agenda: appropriations, the debt limit, tax reform, health care. Basically the summer agenda for Congress. That's basically what we discussed. Like the bill we're bringing to the floor tomorrow, the Financial Choice Act. That is a major amount of regulatory relief for community banks. We're losing about one community bank a day. That's how businesses get their capital. It is clogging up credit and economic growth. And so this is basically our answer to replacing the Dodd-Frank law, which amplifies too big to fail. It codifies taxpayer bailouts of very big banks, and it makes it really hard and impossible for small banks to compete and to give credit to small businesses. And that is why we're so strong on getting this done, making this work. We think it's critical for economic growth, and that's the bill we're bringing through here tomorrow. So the point I guess I'd say is, in all this talk about Comey and Russia and everything else, we're still here doing our jobs in Congress. We're still here doing the jobs that people asked us to do, which is to solve their problems. In Middle America, in Appleton, Wisconsin, you come from, Janesville, Wisconsin, where I come from, small businesses aren't getting the kind of credit they need to expand and hire people because community banks are being overregulated, and we're fixing that problem tomorrow.
All right. Well, the president, at least according to Comey, says that he wants Comey to get the Russian matter behind him because there's a cloud that's sort of hanging over him. Is that cloud in any way inhibiting sort of the progress of legislation like you set forth?
Not at all. Not at all.
What's this cloud? This cloud is just from the president's side of Pennsylvania Avenue and not so much yours?
Yeah, I can't speak to it. I mean, I'll let him say what he meant when he said that, but it doesn't affect us because, again, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We have all these different committees doing their jobs. We've got the Intelligence Committee doing the Russia investigation. You got the Senate Intelligence Committee doing the same. And then you've got the Independent Counsel. While, meanwhile, the Financial Services Committee brought this bank regulatory reform bill to the floor tomorrow. So we're sitting here doing our jobs, focusing on fixing people's problems while these investigations are also being conducted. So the point I'd say is I think the president was pretty frustrated. Obviously, I think that testimony pretty much fleshes that out, that he was told 3 times he wasn't a subject of investigation, so he's very frustrated with it. But that doesn't cloud us up here in Congress. We've always had investigations of various issues while we also simultaneously work on legislation. In this case, we ran on a very specific, coherent agenda. How do you get people out of poverty? How do you get people back to work? How do you get the economy growing faster so we have faster wage growth? This is one of the crown jewels of our economic growth platform. We've been working on it for many years. We've been working on it all this year, and now we're bringing it to the floor tomorrow to pass it. So that's just proof that we are still doing the things that people asked us to do while we do this other oversight work, which is what Congress also is responsible for.
Okay, the oversight. Now, and I'll probably one more question on the oversight, but it's like, I have no idea where the facts are going to fall, and like you, I'll wait to see, what happens. This is like an opening statement in the courtroom. However, if it turns out that what Comey has set forth turns out to be something credible, corroborated, and that you believe it to be true, and that all these things happen that he sets forth in the opening statement, then what?
Look, I'm not going to prejudge any of this. Because we have investigations that are just in the offing. So the last thing I'm going to do as Speaker of the House is predetermine or prejudge or prejudice evidence that I haven't even seen yet. That's why we have thorough oversight and thorough investigations. So let these investigations go wherever the facts take them, and then let's make some judgments. In the meantime, I'm busy making sure that Congress does the people's business, fix problems, do our oversight, and that's why we're very excited about this bank regulatory reform bill we're bringing tomorrow to end too big to fail, end bailouts, and help communities get the kind of credit they need to grow small businesses. So that's just one example of the things we're doing here to make sure that we still work on the people's problems.
All right. In terms of too big to fail, I always think of sort of business. Are you hoping that the Justice Department, this is sort of a random question, is going to get more aggressive in fighting mergers and being more aggressive in antitrust? Because we've seen so many things like the airline industry consolidate, and which I think has an impact on the consumer. What about the antitrust division? Yeah,
I spent a lot of time when I was younger studying the antitrust laws and antitrust act from an economic standpoint. You did it from the judiciary standpoint. It really sort of depends on the market. It depends on how big this market is and how competitive it is. And so it really is, you can't take just a crude 20th century view of markets. We are in the 21st digital century, and sometimes companies must grow or they die. And the question is, are they getting undue market power where then they are becoming monopolistic? And that is something that you clearly have to look at. And that is why we have a Justice Department. That's why we have antitrust laws for that very purpose.
All right. Next week, it looks like the Senate is going to vote on possible sanctions on Russia. Your position on that, and to punish Russia for the hacking, and also your assessment of whether there really will be tax reform by the end of the year.
Yeah, yes. On your last one, we will have tax reform by the end of the year. We're working very diligently on that between the House, the White House, and the Senate. And as far as Russia, you know me, I'm very much of a Russia hawk. I think Russia did meddle in our elections. That's the primary core of our Russia investigation. What we need to determine is not just whether they did it, we know that. It's what did they do? How did they do it? How do we prevent it from happening again? And then how do we help our allies so that this doesn't happen to them?
But
look, they tried to meddle in the French elections just about a month ago, Macron's election.
Don't we do something? I mean, we can study it to death. I mean, the Intercept document, which was just leaked, which at least I think exposes Russia. I mean, I think everyone now agrees, and you just said that Russia has been doing this. The sanctions are a form of punishment. Is that the extent of our punishment? Do we keep cranking up this?
No, I don't think that's. I don't think it is. Because we're not done finding out exactly what they did and how they did it. So these things do take time. And so we do need to get to the bottom of exactly what were their sources and methods that the Russians used to try and undermine. They're doing this all over the world, Greta, to try and undermine democracy. I personally think that Putin's plan is to try and delegitimize democracy, undermine it all over the world, so that then when they further delegitimize their political system, they can say it's just like everybody else's. I really think it's more of a defensive mechanism. And also, I think they're trying to divide the West. I think they're trying to divide NATO and Europe. And so obviously we can't let them get away with it. I do think sanctions are called for in this particular case, which we already have them. But we need to figure out exactly what their sources and methods of this delegitimization campaign is. How do they disrupt? Why do they do it? So that we can help our allies prevent this from happening to them. We are unique in that we have the capabilities of assisting not just France, but, Estonia, countries like that, so that we can make sure that the Russians can't interfere with their republics, with their democracies. And that's going to take us some time to figure all of this out, and that's the core primary purpose of our investigations.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.